Okay, I'd like to show you how to utilize the VoiceOver Punch-In tool found in Adobe Premiere Pro CC. This is a tool that allows you to record a voiceover right to your sequence while the video is playing back from within that sequence, which is a handy tool because your talent or whoever is going to do the voiceover can not only have their voice recorded right to your sequence, but they can watch the video here in the program monitor while they're speaking so that they can time their voiceover to the visual elements within the story. So very powerful tool, and it's actually easy to use. So let me show you how to do this. Now, before we go any further, of course, you have to have a microphone plugged into your computer. I happen to be using a USB microphone, and the idea is that when we go into the VoiceOver Punch-In tool settings, we want to make sure that the microphone is being seen or that it's been activated, whether you're on a PC or a Mac. Now, you can also utilize an XLR professional microphone. However, that microphone typically would need to be plugged into some kind of a breakout box. There are many out there. And then that breakout box would have to be plugged into your computer. That's typically through the USB port. So either way, we want to make sure that the microphone is seen and that it's activated before we go any further. So let's do that. Let's go into the settings and get this going. Now, of course, even before we get to that, you'll need to mark a region within your sequence and select a layer where the audio punch-in is going to go. So in my case, here in my sequence, I have an existing project, and I'm going to pretend like the voiceover needs to go right here on track 2. Okay, so I'll use my playhead as a marker. I'll park it in the spot where I'm going to mark as an endpoint by pushing the letter I on my keyboard, and then I'll just click over here just arbitrarily, just for the lesson, up here in the time code region, so my playhead snaps to that point, and I'll push the letter O on my keyboard, and then I'll have an in and an out point, and this is, of course, where the voiceover will go. It'll go right here in this layer. Now, I'd like to mute any existing tracks. So I'm going to mute this audio track here. In fact, of course, you only want to mute any track that has existing audio in it, okay? And you do that by clicking on the letter M over here on the left-hand side of the audio part of your sequence. And then, of course, I suggest that you expand your sequence so that you have a little more room to work with. So I'm going to navigate up to my settings, my timeline settings. I'll mouse click on that button, which is the wrench button, and then I'll navigate down to expand all tracks. And that should give you plenty of room to work in. Now, you could or should go to an existing layer, which is where you want that audio punch-in to go to, and I'm going to control click right here to the right. I'll control click on a PC, it's right click, and then I'll navigate down to the customize option within the drop-down menu. So I'll mouse click on customize, and then of course you'll see all these buttons here, and the one you want is this microphone button, okay? So you mouse click on this button, and I'm going to suggest you place it in the top row to the right. And the reason why I suggest that, after I select OK, of course, I'll select OK. The reason why I suggest that is when you minimize your sequence layers, you'll still see the microphone. It'll always appear. So it's pretty handy to see at all times. Now we want to make sure that your audio punch-in tool or your voiceover punch-in tool sees your microphone. And there are a few places that you need to check before we go any further. So I'm going to control click again right to the right of the microphone here in this audio layer, which is track 2 for me. I'll control click, and again, if you're on a PC, it's right click. And this time I'm going to navigate to the voiceover record settings here in the drop-down menu. I'll click on that. And then, so there's a couple of things going on here that you'll need to be aware of. Number one, you can type in a custom name for your voiceover recording, and I'm going to leave mine alone, but you could click in this box and type in whatever you'd like. And here in source, this is where you can select your microphone. So I'll mouse click on this down button here, and I'll select the microphone that I'm using. I'm using a Yeti USB microphone, so I'll click on that. And then, of course, now I can see the audio levels, which is handy. That's exactly what I need to see. And I'm going to make sure that these are all checked, including countdown sound cues. Okay? So then I'll select close. Now, I do recommend that you go into your preferences and check 2 items, or go to 2 different locations to make sure that 2 items are activated. So now I'm going to navigate up to the top menu here in Adobe Premiere Pro. And if you're on a PC, you'll have to click on the edit option to get to your preferences. Here on a Mac, you simply click on the Premiere Pro option and then select Preferences. And the first place we're going to go is to the Audio option. The second place we're going to go is Audio Hardware. So first, we'll go to Audio. I'll click on that. And you'll want to make sure that Mute Input during timeline recording is checked. Once you've done that, then navigate to the Audio Hardware. Click on that. and go to the ASIO hardware option. Now, this is where a PC and a Mac differ. On a PC, you'll have to click on the ASIO button, which you don't see here on a Mac. On a PC, this is actually a button. You click on that button, and then that'll take you on a PC, that'll take you to the audio hardware settings window, where you'll see two tabs. The first tab, the input tab, is where you can check the microphone that you're using that's plugged into your computer. Here on a Mac, of course, you should be able to see it by clicking on this down arrow. If you don't already see it, then you do want to click on the down arrow and select it. On a PC, you simply check the box to the left of your microphone. Once you've done that, then you can select OK, and we're pretty much ready to go. You then go to the layer where you want to record. Okay, you don't want to go into an existing layer that has audio already. You go to an open layer of audio, you click on the record button, and a couple things are going to happen. This little icon, this button, this microphone is going to turn red, and then you'll see a quick countdown, and you'll actually hear an audio cue, and you'll see a countdown appear here in the window, and then you'll see the word recording here. Well, of course, as soon as you see that word recording, you or your talent can start talking, or whoever the person that is going to talk should start talking. So here we go. I'm going to mouse click on this microphone here. There's the countdown. And now I can start talking. This is the VoiceOver Punch-In tool found in Adobe Premiere Pro. It allows you to record your voice right to an existing layer within your sequence, of course, to an audio layer. Now, when you're done recording, you push the space bar to stop recording, and there it is. There is the voiceover that we want to record right to our sequence. It's that simple, very powerful. Now, a couple things did happen. Of course, there's our recording, or there's my recording. And then if you look over here in my project window, here in the VoiceOver Punch-In tool bin, there is the recording. And it went there because I had this bin selected. And of course, I type in the name for that bin, and then this recording went right where I needed it to go. Now, if you'd like to hear your voiceover, you may not be able to drag your playhead back right away and hear it. And in my case, I can see as I scrub, if I look over here in my audio meters window, I can see that there's audio there, but I can't hear it. Even if I push play in my program window, I cannot hear it. That's not good. Well, it's not that it's not good, it's just that we need to turn the microphone, we need to turn the speakers on, because through this process, sometimes the output gets turned off. So I'm going to navigate back over to the bottom right-hand side of this layer. Actually, I'm in the left-hand side of my sequence, but the right-hand side of this particular tool portion of my sequence. I'll control click, or you right click if you're on a PC, and then you navigate over to VoiceOver Record Settings. You click on that, and you navigate to Source here, and you mouse click on that and select. In my case, I'm going to go with built-in input, built-in output, and then I'll select close. On a PC, you may have to go back into the audio hardware settings that you can get to by clicking on the ASIO settings button that you had to get into to activate your microphone. You may have to go back there and go to the output tab. In either way, or in either case, we want to make sure the audio can be heard, of course, and I can already hear it as I scrub. And now it's just a matter of pushing the play button here in my program window to listen to what I've recorded. And now I can start talking. This is the VoiceOver Punch-In tool found in Adobe Premiere Pro. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Now, if I don't like what I recorded, I could do the following. I could simply select or click on the voiceover audio that I just recorded, and I could push the delete key just like that, park my playhead back at the beginning of this region, and try it all over again. Mouse click on the record button right here in my layer, or in this layer, and try it again. Bottom line is, this is a great tool, and you'll utilize it, I'm sure, while you're editing with future projects within Adobe Premiere Pro CC.